In today's story, a woman discovers that her future mother-in-law has been quietly building the financial and personal case for her engagement to collapse. Before we begin, settle in and enjoy tonight's story. My fiancé's mother had already planned our breakup. My fiancé's mother sent me photographs of him leaving a hotel with another woman 6 weeks before our wedding. There were 4 pictures. In the first, Daniel was walking through the hotel entrance beside a blonde woman in a gray coat. In the second, she was touching his arm. In the third, they were standing close together while he looked down at her phone. The final photograph showed them getting into the same car. His mother sent them without explanation. Then, 30 seconds later, she wrote, "I am sorry. I hoped I was wrong about him. I was at work when the message arrived." I locked myself in the disabled toilet and stared at the photographs until the screen dimmed. Daniel had told me he was attending a supplier conference that afternoon. The hotel in the pictures was 12 miles from the conference center. I rang him twice. He did not answer. His mother, Elaine, called almost immediately. "I didn't know whether to send them," she said. Her voice was soft and controlled. "I've been worrying about you. Who is she?" "I don't know." "Who took the photographs?" There was a pause. "A friend saw them." "What friend?" "That doesn't matter. It matters to me." Elaine sighed, as though I had made the conversation difficult. "The important thing is that you do not confront him until you know what you want. Men can become very convincing when they are cornered." Daniel and I had been together for 4 years. We had shared a flat for 2. Our wedding venue was paid for. The invitations had gone out. My dress was hanging in my sister's spare room because there was nowhere safe to keep it in our flat. Until that afternoon, the greatest threat to the wedding had been Elaine's refusal to accept that it was not hers. She had changed our florist appointment without telling us. She had invited 19 extra guests. She had told the venue that the table plan would be approved through her because she was handling the family side. Each time Daniel challenged her, she became offended and withdrew for several days. Then she returned with a gift, a favor, or an emergency that required his attention. I thought she was controlling. I did not yet understand that control was only useful to her when it produced an outcome. I left work early and waited in our flat. Daniel arrived shortly after 7, carrying a folder from the conference and 2 takeaway coffees. He looked surprised to see me. "Your mother sent me photographs." His expression changed before I showed him the screen, not guilt, recognition. He placed the coffees on the table. "Of course she did." That answer frightened me more than a denial would have. I showed him the pictures. Daniel said the woman was an employment solicitor named Rachel. His company was restructuring, and he had been told his position might be removed. He had arranged an initial consultation without telling anyone because he was embarrassed. "The hotel has meeting rooms," he said. "Her office was being renovated. Why did you get into her car?" "She drove me to the conference center because my train was cancelled." "Why didn't you tell me any of this?" "Because my mother has been asking about my job for 3 weeks, and I didn't want another person panicking." "Your mother already knew." He looked at the photographs again. "No, she suspected." Daniel took out his phone and showed me the appointment confirmation, the solicitor's website, the train cancellation, and a message thanking Rachel for the lift. Then he asked me to zoom in on the final photograph. The angle was low and slightly tilted. It had been taken from inside a parked vehicle. "My mother didn't get these from a friend," he said. "She followed me." I wanted to dismiss that as paranoia. Then Elaine sent another message. "Has he told you she is a solicitor yet?" Daniel read it over my shoulder. Neither of us spoke. My fiancé said the woman in the photographs was an employment solicitor. Then his mother messaged me before I had replied to her. "Has he told you she is a solicitor yet?" She did not ask what explanation he had given me. She already knew the exact explanation because she had known who the woman was from the beginning. The photographs were never meant to reveal an affair. They were meant to survive the explanation. Daniel called her. Elaine answered cheerfully. He asked why she had photographed him meeting a solicitor. "I was protecting Sophie." "From what?" "From making a terrible mistake. You knew Rachel was a solicitor." "I knew that was what you would say. It is what happened." Elaine's voice became colder. You have always been too trusting about appearances. Daniel told her not to contact either of us until he was ready. She started crying, not loudly. Elaine never raised her voice when she could make the other person feel cruel instead. She said she had spent months trying to help with the wedding. She said she had contributed money. She said she had been humiliated in front of her friends and excluded from decisions. Then she said something that did not fit. "You will understand when the flat is sorted." Daniel asked what she meant. Elaine hung up. Our flat belonged to a property company controlled by Daniel's uncle. That arrangement had been Elaine's idea. When our previous landlord sold our building, she offered us the flat at a reduced rent. She described it as temporary help while we saved for a deposit. We paid £950 a month for a property that would have cost at least £1,400 locally. The difference allowed us to save nearly £18,000 toward a house. Elaine frequently reminded us of that. She also reminded us that Daniel's uncle could sell whenever he wanted. The following morning, an email arrived from the property company. Our tenancy would not be renewed after the wedding. No reason was given. The notice was lawful. Our fixed term ended in 11 weeks. Daniel called his uncle, who sounded confused. He said Elaine had told him we were buying a house immediately after the wedding and no longer needed the flat. We were not buying a house. We had viewed 3 properties and had not made an offer. Daniel's uncle apologized and said the renewal could probably be corrected. 20 minutes later, he called back. He had checked the company records. The flat was already under offer. Elaine had introduced the buyer. That was when the photograph stopped looking like an isolated act. The flat, the wedding interference, the questions about Daniel's job, and the sudden attempt to convince me he was cheating all pointed in the same direction. Elaine was trying to create a crisis before we were legally tied together. The obvious explanation was that she hated me. It was also incomplete. Elaine had never objected to me directly. She had praised my career, bought me birthday presents, and once spent an entire weekend helping me move furniture. Her interference always focused on decisions that made Daniel and me more independent: where we lived, how much we saved, whether we combined finances, which family members attended the wedding, what happened if Daniel lost his job. She did not need him single, she needed him dependent. Daniel wanted to cancel the wedding, not end the relationship. Cancel the event, find another flat, and remove every point of leverage his mother controlled. I said that was exactly what she wanted. He accused me of caring more about winning than marrying him. I accused him of allowing her to organize our lives. We slept in separate rooms for the first time since moving in together. The next morning, I found an email in my work inbox from an unfamiliar address. The subject line was simply Daniel. The message contained screenshots of a conversation between Daniel and someone saved as M. In the screenshots, Daniel complained that I was obsessed with the wedding, said he felt trapped, and asked how quickly he could move money out of a joint account. The messages looked real. His profile picture was correct. The timestamps aligned with evenings when he had been out. The language sounded close enough to his that I felt physically sick reading it. The final message said, "Once the flat is sold, she will have nowhere to go. Then I can end it without paying for everything." I forwarded the email to my personal account. Then I checked our joint savings. The balance had fallen by £10,000. Daniel had transferred the money to an account in his own name the previous afternoon. He had not told me. When I confronted him, he admitted it immediately. His mother had called after our argument. She told him that if I accessed the savings before the wedding was cancelled, he might never recover his share. She claimed a solicitor had advised him to separate the funds temporarily. The solicitor? I asked. Which solicitor? He looked ashamed. She sent me a number. He had transferred the money after a 20-minute telephone consultation with someone who said they specialized in relationship finance. I asked to see the number. It was mobile only, no website, no email confirmation, no engagement letter. We called it from my phone. The number was disconnected. Then I showed Daniel the screenshots. He read them twice. They're fake. The money is not fake. I moved my half. You moved more than your half. He checked the transfer and went pale. Our personal contributions were unequal because I had paid most of the wedding deposits. He had moved £10,000 because Elaine told him that represented his share. It did not. It included £3,700 of mine. He transferred it back while I watched. That should have repaired something. Instead, it made the situation worse. Elaine had now persuaded him to remove my money using a fake legal advisor immediately after arranging for us to lose our home. And he had done it. The screenshots were not meant to convince me that Daniel was cheating. They were meant to make the transfer look like part of a secret plan. Someone had designed separate pieces of evidence that supported each other. We changed our passwords, froze the joint account, and told the wedding venue that no instructions were to be accepted from anyone except us. 2 hours later, the venue manager called. Someone had already cancelled our booking. The cancellation request had come from my email address. The refund had been directed to a bank account ending in numbers I did not recognize. The venue had processed £6,400 that morning. My email sent folder contained nothing. The manager forwarded the cancellation request. It included my full name, booking reference, home address, and a copy of my passport. Only 3 people had copies of all of those things: me, Daniel, and Elaine, who had insisted on keeping a folder of wedding documents because she was helping with arrangements. The venue froze the refund before it cleared. Elaine denied sending the email. She said my account must have been compromised and suggested Daniel had done it. Then she forwarded the screenshots of his supposed conversation with M to both our families. By that evening, my parents believed Daniel had tried to steal the savings. His sister believed I had invented the entire situation to isolate him from Elaine. My sister wanted me to leave the flat immediately. The wedding group chat collapsed into accusations, screenshots, and people leaving one by one. Elaine did not argue. She posted one message. This is why I wanted everyone to slow down before something irreversible happened. Then she muted the conversation. The next day, Daniel's company suspended him. An anonymous report claimed he had shared confidential restructuring information with an outside solicitor. The report included a photograph of him entering the hotel and a copy of an internal document found on his personal laptop. The document was genuine. It was also a file he had never seen. His company's security team said it had been downloaded using his employee credentials at 2:11 on Sunday morning. Daniel had been asleep beside me. Our home router showed a new device connected at 2:07. The device name was generic iPhone. I checked the connected device history. The same phone had joined our network 7 times over the previous 2 months, always when Elaine had visited. I expected Daniel to finally accept that she was responsible. Instead, he defended her. She wouldn't understand how to do this. She doesn't need to understand it. She needs someone who does. Who? I don't know. That is not evidence. It was the first time he had used her language against me. He said we were exhausted. He said every new problem was making us interpret the last one differently. He said we needed to stop accusing people until the police or his employer investigated. Then he packed a bag and went to Elaine's house. I remained in the flat we were losing, surrounded by cancelled wedding plans and evidence that could still be explained away as hacking, coincidence, or conflict between an engaged couple. For 2 days, Daniel barely replied. On the 3rd morning, a courier delivered a box addressed to me. Inside was my wedding dress. It had been removed from my sister's house. The bodice had been cut from neckline to waist. There was no note. My sister had given Elaine a spare key months earlier when they were transporting decorations. The key was supposed to have been returned. Elaine told Daniel she had never entered the house. She suggested my sister had damaged the dress to force him away from his family. Then my sister found the spare key on her kitchen counter. She had not put it there. Whoever entered the house wanted us to know they could return the key after using it. That was the moment Daniel stopped defending his mother. A courier delivered my wedding dress in a plain cardboard box. Someone had entered my sister's house, taken it from the wardrobe, and cut the bodice from the neckline to the waist. My future mother-in-law denied touching it. Then my sister found the missing spare key placed neatly on her kitchen counter. Whoever had returned, it wanted us to understand that they had been inside twice. Daniel came back to the flat that evening. He looked worse than I had ever seen him. He said Elaine had spent the last 2 days showing him evidence that I was unstable, emails from supposed former colleagues, a statement from an ex-boyfriend claiming I had falsely accused him of harassment, a screenshot suggesting I had searched for ways to conceal money before marriage. All of it was false, but one item was real. Elaine had a copy of a disciplinary warning from my first job after university. I had received it after accessing a customer record without proper authorization. The incident had been minor, but I had never told Daniel. Elaine used the genuine warning to make the fabricated evidence seem credible. Only one person outside my old employer knew about it, my former boyfriend Marcus. Elaine had met him once. 3 years earlier, before Daniel and I were engaged, Marcus arrived at a family barbecue with one of Daniel's cousins. I had not spoken to him since our breakup. The relationship ended badly after I discovered he had used my debit card to cover gambling debts. I reported the transactions, and he repaid the money to avoid prosecution. At the barbecue, Elaine spent nearly an hour talking to him. I remembered because she later asked why I had chosen such an angry man. Daniel searched Marcus's name. His social media showed photographs from a property development event 6 months earlier. Elaine appeared in the background of one. The event had been organized by the buyer purchasing our flat. The apparent buyer was not a stranger. He was Marcus's employer. That changed the shape of the story. Elaine was not simply trying to stop the wedding. She was working with someone who already knew my vulnerabilities, my old passwords, my previous addresses, and enough personal history to fabricate believable evidence. Daniel contacted his uncle and asked for the buyer's full details. The company buying the flat had been incorporated 8 months earlier. Its registered office was an accountant's address. The director was a woman named Melissa Ward, M, the same initial used in the fake conversation screenshots. We searched her name. Melissa was Marcus's sister. The supposed messages between Daniel and M were designed to point toward a real person connected to the property sale. If anyone investigated, there would be a plausible relationship between the flat, the messages, and Daniel. But why would Marcus help Elaine destroy our engagement? The answer arrived through the wedding refund. The bank account used in the attempted cancellation belonged to Melissa's company. Elaine had not merely tried to cancel the venue, she had tried to redirect the refund into the company buying our flat. Daniel said we should go directly to the police. I refused. We had suspicious connections, altered accounts, and a damaged dress. We still lacked a clean line proving who had done what. Elaine could claim Marcus had manipulated her. Marcus could claim Elaine had supplied the documents. Each could present themselves as another victim. I wanted to know what the property company was for, so I called Marcus. I told him the wedding was over. I said Daniel had moved out and I needed help recovering my share of the savings before his family took everything. Marcus answered after the 4th ring. He sounded cautious but not surprised. I heard things had become difficult. From Elaine, she has concerns. I need somewhere to live. He paused. Then he offered me a flat, not ours, another property nearby owned by Melissa's company. He said the rent could be reduced if I paid 6 months in advance using the wedding refund. I asked why he cared. He said he did not want to see me trapped again. It was almost convincing. Then he used a phrase Elaine had used repeatedly during the previous month, something irreversible. I'm trying to help before you do something irreversible, he said. I recorded the call. Marcus arranged to meet me at a cafe the following afternoon. Daniel wanted to come. I told him Elaine would warn Marcus if Daniel disappeared from her house at the wrong time. He had returned there deliberately after we identified the connection, pretending that he still believed our relationship was over. It was the first plan we had made together in weeks. It also required him to lie convincingly to his mother. At the cafe, Marcus brought a tenancy agreement and a second document. The second document was labeled a declaration of beneficial interest. It stated that I had contributed no money toward the deposit Daniel and I had been saving, and that every payment into the joint account had been a gift to him. Marcus said signing it would protect me. I asked how. He said Daniel's family intended to accuse me of taking funds that belonged to him. By signing the declaration and transferring the remaining wedding money into Melissa's company temporarily, I could demonstrate cooperation while he negotiated. The logic was absurd. The paperwork was not. It included our exact savings balance, the venue refund amount, and the date our tenancy ended. I asked where he obtained those figures. He smiled. "You told me more than you realize." I had told him none of them. I asked whether Elaine knew about the documents. Marcus stopped smiling. He said Elaine had created an opportunity for everyone to separate cleanly. Daniel would return to his family. I would receive somewhere affordable to live. The flat would be sold without complications, and the money protected by your sister's company for a short period. "You mean taken?" Marcus gathered the papers. The meeting should have ended there. Instead, I told him I was willing to sign if he could prove Daniel had planned to leave me. Marcus hesitated. Then he opened a folder on his tablet. He showed me draft statements, staged screenshots, copies of Daniel's work files and photographs taken outside our building. There were more than 80 documents. Some had been created before Daniel proposed. The earliest was a background report on me dated 3 years earlier, 2 weeks after the family barbecue. Elaine had not started planning our breakup when we became engaged. She had started when she realized Daniel might stay with me. Marcus had been collecting material ever since. Marcus opened a folder containing staged messages, photographs, and copies of our private documents. The earliest file was dated 3 years before our wedding. It had been created 2 weeks after his first conversation with my future mother-in-law. She had not started planning our breakup after the engagement. She had started when she realized her son might build a life she could no longer control. I asked Marcus why he had kept everything. He said documentation protected him. That sounded like something Elaine would believe. Then he showed me the reason he was willing to risk so much. The property company was buying 4 flats from Daniel's uncle, not one. All 4 were being sold below market value. Elaine had convinced her brother that the building required urgent structural work and that selling quickly would protect him from future liability. Melissa's company planned to renovate the flats and resell them. The projected profit was more than £600,000. Our tenancy was the problem. We had a close relationship with Daniel's uncle, knew the building's actual condition, and had discussed buying our flat directly. If we married, combined finances, and approached him with a deposit, the wider sale might collapse. Elaine's motive was not only emotional dependence. She was receiving 20% of the property company through a private agreement. She had arranged the sale, weakened our relationship, and used Marcus to create evidence that made both Daniel and me appear financially dishonest. If the engagement collapsed, Daniel would return home. I would leave the flat. The sale would proceed, and Elaine would profit from both outcomes. I asked Marcus to email me the declaration so I could review it. He refused. I said I would not sign anything without a copy. He finally sent it from Melissa's company account. That email was the link we needed. It connected Marcus, the property company, our financial information, and a document designed to surrender my claim to money in the joint account. I left the cafe and called Daniel. He did not answer. Elaine did. "Sophie," she said, "you need to stop." Her voice contained none of the warmth she usually performed. I asked where Daniel was. "He understands now." "Understands what?" "That you contacted Marcus behind his back." Marcus had warned her before I reached the end of the street. Elaine said Daniel had seen the recording. For 1 second, I thought she meant my recording. Then she sent me an audio file. It was my voice telling Marcus that the wedding was over, Daniel had moved out, and I needed help taking my share of the money. The file ended before Marcus mentioned the property company or the declaration. They had recorded me too. Elaine threatened to give the audio to Daniel's employer, our families, and the police as evidence that I had conspired with a former boyfriend to remove money from the joint account. She told me to sign the declaration, leave the flat, and stop contacting Daniel. In return, she would make sure the work complaint disappeared and the wedding venue received its money back. She was no longer pretending to protect anyone. I asked to speak to Daniel. Elaine said he did not want to speak to me. Then I heard his voice in the background. "Keep her talking." Elaine went silent. Daniel had placed his phone on speaker. His uncle and a solicitor were in the room with him. Daniel had told Elaine he wanted to discuss transferring his savings into the property deal. He said losing me had made him realize she was right. He asked how much he could earn if he invested before the building sale completed. Elaine explained everything. She explained Marcus's role. She explained the staged photographs. She admitted that the solicitor who advised Daniel to move the savings was Marcus using a prepaid phone. She said the dress had been necessary because I was refusing to accept that the wedding was finished. She even complained that Marcus had gone too far by involving Daniel's employer. His uncle recorded 43 minutes. Elaine only realized what had happened when he asked why she had told him the building needed structural repairs. The sale stopped that afternoon. His solicitor notified the property company that the transaction was under investigation. The bank froze the account that had been used for the attempted venue refund. Daniel's employer traced the confidential download to a remote login authorized through a recovery email Elaine had helped him create years earlier. Marcus deleted his social media and stopped answering calls. Melissa resigned as director of the property company 2 days later. Elaine sent Daniel 19 messages claiming she had been manipulated by them. He did not reply. The police investigation moved more slowly than anyone expected. The photographs were not illegal. Much of the personal information had originally been given to Elaine voluntarily. The false messages were harmful, but proving who created each file was difficult. The damaged dress, unauthorized account access, and attempted redirection of the wedding refund were more serious. Marcus eventually admitted accessing Daniel's accounts and creating the fake legal service. He claimed Elaine paid him in cash and promised him a share of the property profit. Elaine denied paying him. The financial records showed otherwise. She had transferred £14,000 to Melissa's company in payments labeled consultancy. Our wedding did not happen. Even after we understood the scheme, there was too much damage between us. Daniel had moved my money because his mother told him to. He had believed fabricated evidence because part of it exploited things I had hidden from him. I had contacted Marcus and lied convincingly enough to make Daniel question whether the recording was complete. We did not break up immediately. We spent 4 months trying to decide whether surviving the same attack meant we should stay together. It did not. We loved each other, but we no longer trusted our own judgment inside the relationship. Every disagreement felt like another planted message. Every unexplained call carried the possibility that someone was constructing a new version of events. We cancelled the wedding permanently and divided the savings according to what each of us had contributed. Daniel moved to another city. I rented a small flat near my sister. His uncle kept the building and eventually sold our old flat directly to its tenants at a fair price. Elaine was charged over the account access, attempted fraud, and damage to the dress. The case ended with a suspended sentence, compensation order, and restrictions on contacting me. Marcus received a community order after cooperating with the investigation. Melissa's company was dissolved. The venue returned every payment. My wedding dress could not be repaired. For a while, I kept it in the damaged box because throwing it away felt like admitting Elaine had achieved what she wanted. Eventually, I took it to a textile artist. She cut away the ruined bodice and used the remaining fabric to make a framed piece for my wall. Daniel saw a photograph of it through my sister. He messaged me once. He said he was sorry that his mother had been right about one thing. Something irreversible had happened. I replied that she had been wrong about what it was. She believed ending the wedding would give her son back. Instead, Daniel changed his number, moved away, and refused to tell her where he lived. She had spent 3 years planning our breakup. The only relationship she destroyed permanently was her own.
You've been listening to Low Light Stories, original fiction for late night listening. New stories are added regularly, so subscribe if you'd like to hear the next one. Thanks for listening.